Hi, beautiful butterflies. Before we get started on my art project, I wanted to read you a story called Scribble Stones, written and illustrated by Diane Alber. So an illustrator draws the picture, and an author does what for a book? You're right, author writes the words. So Diane Alber wrote the words and drew the pictures for Scribble Stones. Look at the inside of this page. Look at, what colors do you see? Black, white, gray. I wonder if the book is going to be in black and white or if there'll be some color. This story is about one happy stone who was gray and round and rarely alone. He lived with the others all stacked in a pile and waited calmly with a large, friendly smile. Can you show me your smiles? Beautiful. Each stone had a purpose, but it wasn't known yet. Some would be landscaping, and some a stone pet. Does anybody have a pet rock at their house? Me either. There were so many things that stones could be. The hardest part was just waiting to see. Stone knew that his purpose would brighten someone's day. He just wasn't sure how or in what kind of way. He imagined the things that he might soon become as he watched all the stones get picked up one by one. But his happy face slowly turned to a frown. Can you show me a sad face? Look at, he's got a bunch of friends, and then there's less and less, and look at now he's all alone. As he watched the tall pile start to dwindle down, and although he was worried, he tried not to care until it was clear that he was the last one there. How would it make you feel if you were all by yourself? I would probably feel sad. Then it finally happened. Stone was quickly picked up. He was placed on the desk next to a very large cup. Do you see the cup? What color is it? Red. And look at his smile now. He feels like he's got a purpose. As Stone looked around, he thought, this is so great. But soon he discovered he was a dull paperweight. I'm supposed to bring happiness, not to hold paper still. There must be a mistake. This just can't be my skill. So his job is to sit on top of paper so they don't fly away. But he's not too happy about it. Ooh. Then all of a sudden, a splatter flew high, and then some bright scribbles came wiggling by. Can you show me how you wiggle? They were headed right toward the short stack of paper, and then they filled up the paper on the front and the back. So it's important when we're coloring that we use both sides of the paper so we aren't wasteful. Then they were making art. It was happening so fast, Stone feared that the paper would simply not last. Look at all of these art projects. Some of these look like the projects we've done in our classroom. He couldn't believe just how much the pile grew. Then he heard a small cry from the fun splatter crew. We knew that this pile was getting too tall. There is no more paper. We have used it all. The scribbles all cried, and then now they saw it too. This is a disaster. What will we do? So the scribbles and the splatters are sad that the paper's all gone. What can they do? Let's think. What could they do? They've used all of the paper. Let's see what happens. Stone didn't want the scribbles to cry, so he thought of something that they could all try. He slowly lowered down the very large pile and said, I know how to make you all smile. I know I'm not paper, but I like art too. Do you think you could spare some red, yellow, and blue? Do you remember what kind of colors red, blue, and yellow are? Primary color's good. You have to have blue, red, and yellow, but you can mix those to make other colors, to make the secondary colors. They loved the idea and could not wait to start. Scribble began making a happiness heart. Splatter then painted some pale baby blue. Another scribble added a sunny gold hue. It didn't take long before more stones showed up soon the line grew behind the large red cup. So look they're painting stone instead of painting the paper. And now all of these stones want to get painted. How many stones are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more stones want to get painted. To Stone's surprise, he was picked up once more. He had never heard of this happening before. More art was added, and he was on his way to become a small gift to brighten someone's day. Do you see he's got the bow on? He's got a bow. Nearby, another stone's journey had begun. He was spreading such happiness and having great fun. Every time he traveled, someone added their part, sometimes just a scribble, sometimes fancy art. So what shape does he have on him here? A star, and then they're adding more. With each new layer, there was a story to share, and soon Scribble Stones were seen everywhere. They traveled the planet. It was quite an event, bringing happiness and fun wherever they went. Now thousands of stone inspire creativity each day, all because of a paperweight with a will and a way. The end. So look, the beginning of the book, all of the stones were gray. And by the end of the book, they were all painted. So our next part of our activity is we're going to go on a nature walk in my backyard to try to find some stones. And then once we find some stones, we're going to decorate them. So after we go looking in my yard, maybe you can go in your yard and try to find some stones. If you don't have any stones in your yard, you could ask Mommy and Daddy to maybe go on a nature walk and find some. Okay, stay tuned. All right, butterflies, let's go on a little nature walk and try to find some rocks. Find some stones that will work to spread some happiness and kindness. I'm gonna look over here. Ooh, look, I found some. So do you think this would be a good rock that I could paint and spread some kindness? I think so, so I'm gonna put it in my bag. Let's see, oh, look at this nice stone. Now, if you're taking rocks from your yard, make sure you ask your mommy and daddy to make sure that it's okay that you use them. So I've got 3 rocks right now. Let me get 1 or 2 more. Let's see. What about this one? It's very unique. It's flat on one side and it's kind of round on the other. Okay, so now that we've got our rocks, let's go paint them. Okay, now that we've found our rocks, our stones, it's time for us to decorate them. So I'm choosing to use some paint, and I have some jewels and some glue that I'm going to spread on them. So I'm going to start off by using the blue paintbrush and the blue paint. And you can decorate them just like the story says with a splatter or a scribble. You can do a little bit of art or you can add a lot of art to it. So what we're going to want to do is just paint whatever makes us feel happy or whatever we think will make somebody else feel happy. Let's see if the yellow shows up. Ooh, it does. So I'm painting. Now you can use, the best type of paint to use would be acrylic, so then it stays on better. But you can also use other types of paint like tempera paint, or finger paint. it just might not stick on as well if you put them outside and it rains. So I'm just kind of coloring it, and then I've got a green. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I put a piece of paper underneath my rocks so that way I don't get my desk dirty. So I'm just kind of painting them however I want. Because remember, the stone was just a plain, boring paperweight until the scribbles and the splatters ran out of paper, and they still wanted to decorate. So the stone knew that he could help spread happiness by letting the paint color him. So right now I've just decorated the top of it, but you could decorate the sides. I'm gonna work on this one. Maybe I'm gonna paint it all red and then make it into a ladybug. This one is a smooth rock, and I think that might work best, but any type of rock will work. Remember that if you're gonna take rocks from your yard, make sure it's okay with your mommy and daddy, because sometimes they have special rocks for landscaping, and we wanna make sure it's okay with them. So I'm gonna turn this one into a ladybug, I think. So once the paint dries, I'll be able to draw a face on it. I'm gonna add some gems. Let's see. I think the yellow might look nice on this one. This was the rock that's flat on one side, and then it's kind of rounded. Kind of looks like a cookie. Maybe I'll turn this one into a cookie, because I know cookies make me happy. Do you guys like cookies? The other day I made really yummy cookies, and I wish I could share them with you. So I'm just gonna paint, or maybe I could turn this into a smiley face. What do you think of that? So I'm just painting my rocks. Nice and neat. So what you can also do is when you're done with this, if your mommies and daddies have Mod Podge or a clear spray to seal it, you can seal them, and you can put them in people's yards or along the path you like to walk and hike, because when people see your decorated stones, it's going to make them happy. And then if we all are a little bit happy and we spread some kindness, then the world is just going to be a better place. So far I've painted 3, but I think I'm ready to add some jewels. So I have my container of glue. So I'm going to use a popsicle stick to spread it. So remember the rule. Let's see. If you dip it and it's drippy, wipe it on the edge so that way it doesn't spill. I'm going to put some jewels on this one. So I'm just going to put a few dots of glue. Remember, it's drippy, so I'm going to wipe it off. Dip and wipe. Sometimes you have to wipe 2 times. Okay, and then I'm going to find some gems that I think will make people so happy. Let's put a blue one on there and a green one. Let's see what else. Purple. I know Alexa loves the color purple. Who else likes the color purple? Danny, Emily, Elle, Maddie. It's all of it. Let's see. Another blue. Ooh, this one's a light blue. It's one of my favorite colors. Yellow. So see how I'm just adding them? So you can make your own scribble stones by adding some jewels, by painting them, and you can place them to make people happy. So if you make a scribble stone, make sure you take a picture and send it to us so we can see, and we can then see how happy it makes us. Love you, butterflies. Mwah.